Hey everybody, welcome to Snow Talk. Way Through News meteorologist Brian Good here on this Wednesday. I'll try to get to a lot of the data as I can. Just know that as we get closer in time for this front moving in, we'll go into more detail and I will touch base in longer term as well. As far as the snowboard goes, still looking at toward the end of the month, maybe a rain or snow kind of a setup. Again, still leaning more toward rain than I am snow. And this is going to be anything that would be a little more than just your typical, flurries and sleet that may fly through the air like we may see on Saturday. But nothing significant I see anytime soon. Okay, so here's the setup on the wider scope. You can see we had some fog around this morning. Otherwise, high pressure really has just got us a grip on us today. So beautiful weather really for today and tomorrow. And the winds are not going to wrap up today. It'll be tomorrow and certainly on Friday late because the wind fields are just west of the high. So until the high scoots more to the east, we won't really feel the effect of the wind, but it will become an issue for us. And then we're still watching, of course, this is our issue for the weekend as we get this low to continue to form, and we got blizzard alerts going up here from Minnesota into the Dakota, so big time snow for them, you snow fans. All right, but we're really going to be tracking this roller coaster ride that we're going to deal with. 70 today, 77 tomorrow, 80 on Friday. That would, of course, break the record. The record tomorrow, by the way, is 84. That's fine. But the record on Friday, 77. That would likely fall. And then look at the drop. It would just bam, 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 all the way down the roller coaster here as we head into Friday night. And any moisture left around could still go over to a bit of frozen variety. Now, the models here are not entirely keen on the numbers here, so don't pay attention too much to the numbers. But we're still thinking about 80 early on. And then as we get into Friday night, now the timing on this is going to vary a bit. We're seeing signs it could be RPM. In fact, Futurecast model is fast with this rain band, brings it in say around 8 o'clock in the evening, and the other models take it into about midnight, 2 a.m. So the speed on this will be adjusted still, so stay tuned on that. But either way, it'll pass through. We're not expecting much in the way of severe weather. We'll talk about that in a second. But watch what happens when the colder air catches up with it. You start to see that change over to a bit of frozen precip. Now, it gets complicated because you have to look at the atmosphere in layers. It's that time of year we're going to really look at it in more detailed layers. We see enough cold air aloft to create the ability for ice pellets, but we don't have a whole lot of moisture in what we call the snow growth zone to create a snowflake. And that's why it may end up being more ice pellets than anything. The deeper the cold air is when you can get into the issue of snowflakes, and that's going to be a little more over the weekend in general, closer to Ohio. But for us, initially, it looks to be more ice pellets, and then we'll see that trend likely continue throughout the day. In fact, as the front moves in, these are the winds aloft, about a mile or so up. So if the band of showers that's coming through here Friday night, the front, even though there's not a lot of instability, it may not have any lightning with it, in fact, but even some decent showers can tap into some of these winds, because it's only a mile up here, can tap into these winds and then push them down to the ground. So as the front and the rain band pushes in, wind speeds of 40 miles per hour or so could certainly get pushed to the ground. Can't rule that out. We got to watch for that. And it may catch off guard because there's not going to be any lightning or thunder or anything like that. It'd just be rain. All of a sudden you hear the wind rushing in. That can knock trees down, certainly. But we'll watch it as it passes through. And then it's going to stay windy. That is not going to change on Saturday. And that is going to lead to some bitter wind chills as well as we head into the time period. In fact, look at the wraparound here as we head into Saturday afternoon. That's your best chance of getting anything more than an ice belt, like a snowflake would be up towards Cincinnati and Lexington. Here are the potential wind chills. And this may be a bit overdone, but it gives you a general idea of 20s and 30s for wind chills across wave country on Saturday. Ugh. I know, not the greatest. As we head toward Thanksgiving, we do have another system moving in toward the travel day. This one looks fairly weak overall. May have enough of a push of warm air to get us to the upper 50s. It looked stronger yesterday. It doesn't look as strong so far today. If it gets a little stronger than what is indicated, we could get back in the 60s, but we'll trend it. But the thing is, because it's not as strong, the wraparound is not as intense either, so it's going to be a chilly shower chance for Thanksgiving, temperatures in the 40s. You're almost going to wish it would snow when it gets to that point. But hey, you'll be a family, right? All right, let's take a look at the longer range. Here is the setup. Here's the lower 48 right here. Here's Canada, and we're watching this Alaska. If you guys have been paying attention the past several weeks, we talk about we need to get a ridge. You need the red to be in here. That will then lead to the blues and the purples being here for colder weather. Well, we're not seeing that. What we're seeing is you got some ridging up there, but still some decent troughs moving into the Aleutian Islands, into Alaska, and these little waves, these little lows are cutting underneath, but they weaken when they get to the eastern seaboard. Now, this one in particular, because of blocking here, is going to deepen a bit, so it'll be a decent snow for the Appalachians and Northeast, but most of them are going to ride underneath it. And in fact, as we get toward the end of the month, you can see we're back to more of a troughiness over Alaska again. Until this changes, this is what will happen. You're going to get more active weather in the Rockies, and you're going to get warmer air flows into the southeast corner of the country, and even the tropics. Tropics are loving it when you get a kind of a ridging, even this late in the season. So we'll see how it plays out. Hopefully this will change, and we're seeing signs it will, but it's going to take some time. And the models are going to tease you like crazy about snow until then. Looking at the new Jamstack model, the Japanese model, the long range, just updated today for the month of November. Here's the ocean temperatures. Now, this is a good sign when you see warmer than average in the Aleutian Islands into the west coast of the United States. That's a good sign, but when we look at the temperature forecast at ground level, it's still forecast either at or above average temperatures for a good chunk of the continent. There's not any blue showing up. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to be warm. No. It is compared to average. We're going to be balanced out, and average will be 30s and 40s. So, yeah, it could still be some interesting weather. But what really is a telltale sign is the dryness is showing in the southeast corner of the country. That leads to me thinking that it's trying to pick up on the idea of that high-pressure ridge we've been worried about in the southeast getting locked in. Let's hope that's not the case. We'll see how it plays out. That's it now for today, guys. We will see you guys tomorrow.